Lower the lights for a moment and find a comfortable spot to sit. Let the silence of the room settle around you as we begin our journey. We often think of the Middle Ages as a dark, grim time of constant war and mud, a period where progress stood still in the shadows of history. But look around your room tonight. Many of the things you use every day, perhaps even right now, were born from the brilliant minds of those ancestors. If you need a breeze, turn on a gentle fan. Did you know that the mechanical principles we use for airflow have roots buried deep in medieval engineering? The Dark Ages were actually vibrant with innovation. While we imagine knights in armour, the real revolution was happening in the workshops and the quiet monasteries. Take a deep breath and smell the scent of old paper. Each page of history holds a secret invention that helped build the foundations of our modern world. Before the digital screen, there was the labour of the hand. Every letter was a prayer, and every invention was a step toward the light of knowledge. Forget the tales of endless battles. Let us look instead at the daily lives of the people who struggled, dreamed, and created the tools we still use. These objects are not just relics, they are the ancestors of your smartphone, your glasses, and the very clock that measures your life every single second. The warmth of the fire reminds us that human needs have always been the same. We seek comfort, we seek clarity, and we seek to understand time. They lived in a world of shadows, yet they were obsessed with light. They wanted to see the world more clearly, and that desire changed our vision. Imagine a world where once your eyes grew tired or old, the world simply blurred forever. That was the reality for everyone before the 13th century arrived. The scholars of the past fought against the fading of their sight. They refused to let their learning end just because their physical bodies were growing weak. From these massive structures to the smallest lens, the scale of their invention was breathtaking. They built for eternity, but they also built for the individual. Look around you again. That book on your nightstand, the watch on your wrist, even the fork in your kitchen, they all have a medieval heart. We often take our comfort for granted, but every comfort has a history. Every tool has a story of a craftsman who wanted to make life easier. In the flickers of this flame, we can see the ghosts of those inventors. They are here in the rhythm of our lives and the tools we touch. The marketplace was the pulse of the world, where new ideas were traded alongside spices and silk, fueling the fire of innovation across the entire continent. When we look into the past, we are looking at ourselves. We share the same curiosity and the same drive to improve the world around us daily. Time was once measured by the sun and the sand, but the Middle Ages wanted something more precise, something they could control and hear with gears. We live in the future they dreamed of, using the foundations they laid with stone, iron, and wood. Let's explore these inventions that refuse to die. It all begins with the eye, the desire to see what is hidden, to enlarge the small, and to clarify the world for those who cannot see. Step into the light of the 13th century, where the first great revolution of sight and time began in the heat of an Italian glass forge. Venice, the city of glass. Here, artisans discovered how to shape the very medium of light into something that could correct the flaws of human nature. They were not just making decorative vases, they were experimenting with the properties of refraction, unaware that they were about to change the world's vision. The first lenses were crude, often called reading stones. They were simply glass spheres or hemispheres placed directly onto the text to magnify the letters. Imagine the wonder of a monk who, after years of struggling with failing eyes, could suddenly see the holy words as crisp and clear as his youth. By the late 1200s, someone had the brilliant idea to connect two of these lenses and perch them on the bridge of the nose. Spectacles were born. This wasn't just a convenience, it was a revolution in productivity. Scholars could now work for decades longer, preserving and creating knowledge into their old age. Today, we treat glasses as a fashion statement or a minor necessity, but without that medieval breakthrough, millions of us would be living in a blur. Every time you put on your contacts or adjust your frames, You're using technology that reached its first peak in the heart of the Middle Ages. The science of optics began here. Every camera lens, every telescope exploring the stars, and every microscope curing diseases started with a piece of Venetian glass. But seeing clearly was only half the battle. The other half was knowing exactly when to see. In the monasteries, a new obsession was taking hold. The monks lived by a strict schedule of prayer. They needed to know when to wake, when to eat, and when to sing their hymns. Sundials were useless at night, and water clocks froze in the winter. They needed a machine that was indifferent to the weather and the sun. Blacksmiths began to work with mathematicians to create the first mechanical clocks, massive systems of weights and gears designed to strike a bell on time. These clocks didn't have minute hands yet. They were loud, clunky, and often inaccurate by modern standards, but they changed the very nature of human life. For the first time, time was no longer a fluid experience of nature. It was something measured, chopped into equal parts, and shared by an entire community. The rhythm of the modern world was set by these medieval monks. Our entire global economy depends on the synchronization they first fought to achieve. We are still slaves to the gear, whether it's a digital pulse or a swinging pendulum. We live in the house that medieval timekeepers built, and yes, you can thank those same monks for your alarm clock, though they probably wouldn't approve of you hitting snooze 3 times every morning. The weight of time is heavy. Those early engineers understood that gravity could be harnessed to track the invisible flow of our lives from birth to death. They looked to the heavens to fix their clocks, connecting the movement of the stars to the ticking of a machine on a church wall below. There is a deep satisfaction in the mechanical. It is a tangible link to the medieval artisans who believed that machines could bring us closer to the divine. These monuments to time are the landmarks of our civilization. They are the descendants of the first iron gears that began turning in the Dark Ages. We have miniaturized their giants, but the goal remains the same: to master the one thing we can never truly own or stop, time itself. The sand falls, the gears turn, and the lenses focus. We are moving from the perception of the physical world into the realm of the mind. Without the medieval lens, our world would be smaller, darker, and much more confusing. They gave us the gift of clarity in a blurry world. From the smallest screw to the largest engine, the mechanical spirit of the Middle Ages lives on in every machine that hums around us today. Now, let us turn the page, because once people could see clearly and track their time, they wanted to share what they knew with the whole world. Before the press, books were treasures. Each one was hand-copied over months of grueling labour, making them more valuable than many people's entire homes. If you wanted to read, you had to be wealthy, powerful, or a man of the church. Knowledge was a fortress, and its gates were locked tight. Then came the 15th century. A goldsmith named Gutenberg looked at a wine press and saw a different kind of harvest, the harvest of human thought. Movable type was the internet of its day. It allowed for the mass production of ideas, breaking the monopoly of the elite over the written word forever. The smell of ink and the sound of the press became the soundtrack of a new era. Information was no longer a trickle, it was becoming a flood. This machine did more than print books. It printed the Reformation, the Enlightenment, and the scientific revolution. It was the ultimate weapon against ignorance and fear. Suddenly, a book didn't cost a farm. It cost a few days' wages. Knowledge began to migrate from the monastery to the marketplace and the common home. Today, we produce more text in a day than the entire Middle Ages did in a century. But the soul of every book remains that medieval press. There is a physical connection in a book that a screen can never replicate. It is a piece of history you can hold in your very hands. Even our digital screens use the layouts and fonts perfected by those early printers. We are still reading in the shadows of Gutenberg's brilliant metal letters. It is a bit ironic that we use this world-changing invention to find out which supermarket has the cheapest eggs this week. A far cry from Bibles. Libraries are the cathedrals of our modern world. They are the places where the medieval dream of universal access to knowledge is finally made a reality. Look closely at the letters. Each one is a legacy of a time when every character had to be cast in lead and set by a steady hand. The old world didn't vanish overnight. The scribe and the printer lived side by side for a while, one representing the past, the other the unstoppable future. Efficiency eventually won. The hand gave way to the machine, and the world began to move at the speed of the printed word for the first time. We carry libraries in our pockets now, but the structure of how we learn and share information was built in those cramped, ink-stained medieval workshops long ago. The gift of literacy is perhaps the greatest medieval legacy. It opened the minds of billions, allowing us to dream across the boundaries of time and space. Writing is a technology of the soul, whether it is printed by a machine or written by a hand. It connects us to those who came before. Every font has a history. Every layout has a reason. We are constantly communicating through a system designed by people who lived centuries before our birth. From the nourishment of the mind, let us move to the nourishment of the body, because even our manners at the table have a medieval origin. For a long time, the hand was the only tool for eating. It was messy, it was communal, and it was the way things had always been. While we might find it unhygienic now, to them, it was natural. The idea of using a metal tool to eat was considered strange and even offensive. Then, the fork arrived. It came from the East, brought to Europe by a Byzantine princess, and it caused an immediate scandal in the royal courts. Some clergy called it an insult to God. They argued that God gave us fingers for a reason, and using an artificial tool was a sign of vanity. But convenience and elegance eventually won the day. The fork turned eating from a primal act of survival into a refined ritual of social status and class. Now, we don't even think twice about it. A table without a fork feels incomplete, a testament to how a sinful invention became a universal necessity. Our manners, our hygiene, and our very way of social interaction were shaped by this simple, two-pronged piece of metal from the medieval era. But the Middle Ages didn't just change how we eat, they changed how we produce food. They looked to the wind and the water for power. Windmills and watermills were the first automated factories. They took the back-breaking labour of grinding grain and gave it to the forces of nature. This was the true beginning of the industrial age. The idea that we could build a machine to do our work was a medieval breakthrough of massive scale. The aerodynamics of the windmill sail are the direct ancestors of the turbine and the propeller. Every engine you rely on today started in a medieval field. As we return to green energy, we are simply returning to the wisdom of our ancestors, harnessing the invisible power of the wind to drive our world. Every slice of bread is a product of this long history of engineering. From the mill to the oven, we are eating the results of medieval ingenuity. Even our diet changed. The ability to process grain on a massive scale made bread the foundation of a life for millions, shaping the growth of entire nations. The baker was a central figure in the village, a master of a process that combined fire, water, and the power of the wind-driven mill. Our modern kitchens are full of the descendants of those early machines. We have just replaced the wind and water with a silent, invisible flow of electricity. These ruins are not symbols of failure, but of transition. They remind us that every technology we use today will one day be a relic of history. We're still doing the same things, grinding, mixing, cooking. We have simply refined the tools, standing on the shoulders of those early, creative engineers. The basic elements of life remain the same. We take what nature gives us and use our minds to transform it into something that sustains our civilization. But to build mills and buy grain, you need capital. And that brings us to the next great medieval invention, the way we handle our money. In the streets of Florence and Venice, a new class of people emerged. They were the money changers, sitting on their benches, or bankers, in the sun. This is where the word bank comes from. They created the first systems of credit, allowing merchants to travel without carrying heavy chests of gold across dangerous lands. A piece of paper suddenly had the value of 1,000 gold coins. This was the birth of the modern financial system, built on trust and a signature. Your credit card is just a digital version of that medieval letter. We still live in a world governed by the laws of banking created in the 14th century. These institutions became more powerful than kings. They funded the exploration of the world and the building of the very cities we live in today. The complexity of our economy is just an evolution of those first simple exchanges. We are still weighing value and betting on the future every day. Whether we like it or not, the medieval banker is still in our pockets, managing our debts and our dreams with invisible digital ledgers of numbers. But the Middle Ages weren't just about money. They were about the certification of the mind. They gave us the first universities and the first degrees. In places like Bologna and Paris, scholars organised themselves into guilds. They created a path for students to prove their knowledge and earn a formal title. When you walk across the stage in your cap and gown, you're wearing the same uniform as a medieval scholar from 800 years ago. The struggle for a degree is a medieval tradition. The late nights, the exams, and the pressure to succeed are all part of an ancient academic ritual. The way we teach and the way we learn has changed less than you might think. We still value the voice of the expert and the community of scholars. It is a perfect and sometimes painful cycle. You use a medieval banking system to pay for a medieval education so you can get a medieval degree. The Middle Ages created the structure of our success and our debt. They built a system that ensures we're always working to pay back the past. Yet, these institutions are also the places where we challenge the past. They are the engines of progress that were fueled by medieval curiosity and grit. We are still in the classroom, still learning, and still trying to prove that we have what it takes to be part of the world of ideas. In every lecture and every exam, the medieval spirit of inquiry lives on. We are still searching for the truth in a complicated, confusing world. They taught us how to argue, how to think critically, and how to build a society based on something more than just raw, physical power and force. Our cities are the ultimate medieval invention. They were the places where people came together to trade, to learn, and to innovate for the common good. The scale has changed, but the heart remains. We are still social creatures, building our lives in the crowded, busy spaces of our collective human imagination. As we come to the end of our journey, take another look at the objects around you. See them for the miracles of history that they are. These things didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were fought for, dreamed of, and perfected by people who lived in a world of shadows. The past is never really gone. It is tucked into our pockets, perched on our noses, and ticking away on the walls of our modern homes. We stand on the shoulders of those dark giants, using their light to navigate our own uncertain future in a world they helped to build. Thank you for spending this time with me, for staying awake and looking back at the long, winding road that brought us to this very moment. Now, it is time to rest. Sleep well in this modern world, built so carefully and so strangely from the bricks of a distant medieval past. Rest your eyes, for they have seen far today. The stories of the past are now your own, to carry into the dreams of tomorrow night. Let us reflect once more on the artisan's touch. Every smooth curve of glass was a victory against the encroaching darkness of an aging world's vision. The physics they discovered by trial and error in smoky workshops became the foundational laws that allow us to capture light and create digital images. Think of the patience it took to spend a lifetime copying a single book. Their dedication to the written word preserved our history through the ages. We have replaced the quill with the nozzle and the scribe with the algorithm. Yet the purpose of sharing our thoughts remains the central human drive. Listen to the heartbeat of the mill. It was the first time we mastered nature to do the work that once broke our bodies and our spirits. The connection between human and machine was forged in these damp, wooden structures. It is a relationship that has only grown more complex with time. The city was the crucible of the future. Within its walls, The rules of trade, law, and education were rewritten to accommodate a growing, hungry world. Every contract you sign, every agreement you make, is part of a legal tradition that began in the medieval courts and marketplaces of old Europe. Even our most advanced science is a continuation of medieval alchemy and inquiry. We're still trying to understand the fundamental building blocks of our universe. They dreamed of what lay beyond the horizon, and their inventions gave us the tools to finally go there, crossing oceans and eventually reaching for the stars. We are never truly lost, because we carry the maps of those who came before us, refined and digitized for a world they could never imagine. The basics of domestic life haven't changed much in 1,000 years. We still seek the same comforts and use the same basic geometric shapes. The path we walk is an ancient one. Every step we take in our modern cities is a step over the layers of history that define us. Precision is the gift of the medieval engineer. They taught us that if we could measure the world, we could eventually hope to master it entirely. The night was never truly dark for those who had the fire of invention in their hearts. They were always looking for a way to improve. We enjoy the view they made possible, through the glass they perfected. We see a world that is clear, bright, and full of endless, wonderful possibilities. History is a tangible thing. It is something we can touch, something that resonates in the air around us if we only listen carefully enough today. Every word we write is a tribute to the scribes and printers. We are part of a long, unbroken chain of communication that spans many centuries. Our technology is just the latest chapter in a story that began in the Middle Ages. We are the inheritors of a legacy of constant, restless innovation. In the silence of the library, the voices of the past are loud and clear. They tell us that no matter the era, human ingenuity will always shine. Each tick is a reminder of the monks who first quantified the day. We live in a world of seconds and minutes they first defined for us. They built the bridges that connected people and ideas. Their engineering allowed us to expand our horizons and build the interconnected world we now inhabit. The scale has changed, but the principles of physics and the desire to connect remain the same. We are still building on their solid, stone foundations. Our finances are a digital reflection of the medieval counting house. We are still managing our resources using systems that were designed in the Italian Renaissance. The automation we dream of today started with the water wheel and the windmill. We are finally realizing the medieval dream of machines that work for us. They use light to tell stories and to inspire. Their mastery of glass and colour continues to influence our art and our architecture in the present. We are still telling stories with light and colour. Our screens are the modern cathedrals of information, capturing our attention and our imagination in the same way. Security and privacy were medieval concerns too. They designed the locks and keys that protected their treasures, and we still use the same mechanical designs. The form has changed, but the function remains. We still need to protect our spaces and our secrets, using tools that have a long, storied history. They knew the world was round long before Columbus sailed. Their intellectual curiosity laid the groundwork for the age of discovery and the modern, global era. We see the whole world now, just as they dreamed. Their maps were the first steps toward a truly global perspective that connects every single human being. The quill may be gone, but the spirit of the writer remains. We are still using the same tools of language to express our deepest thoughts today. We live in a world of overlapping technologies. The old and the new exist together, each one informing and improving the other in a constant cycle. They gave us the tools to find our way. Their navigation was the first step in our journey to explore every corner of our planet and beyond. We are still following those same invisible lines of magnetic force. The medieval compass is still guiding us, even if it is hidden behind a screen. The goldsmiths of the Middle Ages were the first engineers of the small. Their precision and skill led directly to the development of modern microtechnology and electronics. Our digital world is built on the same foundations of precision and material science. We have simply shrunk the scale to the level of the atom. The Middle Ages were a time of great movement and exchange. They created the first truly international networks of trade and ideas that we still use. We are more connected than ever, but the desire to travel and to trade is as old as the first medieval merchant who set out on a journey. Our daily rituals are a mix of the old and the new. We take our medieval comforts and use them to power our modern, high-speed lives today. In the midst of all our technology, we still find peace in the simple things that have been with us for many hundreds of long years. The day begins as it always has, with the measurement of time. We are still living by the rhythm set by those ancient iron gears and bells. We are masters of time, but we are also its servants. The medieval obsession with accuracy has become the defining characteristic of our modern, synchronized world. The simple act of eating is a link to the past. The fork, once a scandal, is now a symbol of our shared, modern human culture and manners. Our architecture is a testament to the medieval mastery of glass. We live and work in buildings that would have seemed like magic to them. They looked up and saw a world of possibilities. Their vision gave us the courage to reach for things that were once thought to be completely impossible. We are still looking, still searching for our place in the cosmos. The medieval lens is now exploring the very edges of time and space itself. The printed word is still our most powerful tool. It allows us to share our world and our dreams with anyone who is willing to look. We are still building machines to build machines. The spirit of the medieval workshop is alive in our most advanced, high-tech manufacturing and design labs. Money is a story we all agree on. The medieval bankers understood that trust was the most valuable commodity in the entire world, and we still do. The form of currency is changing, but the principles of exchange and value are as old as the first banker on a Florentine street corner. We still value the certification of knowledge. The university degree remains a symbol of our dedication to the life of the mind and personal achievement. We are the products of a long history of learning and innovation. We carry the past with us as we move into an uncertain, exciting future. Nature is still our greatest source of power. We are finally learning to work with it again, using the wisdom of our medieval ancestors to guide us. The scale has grown, but the idea is the same. We are harnessing the energy of the world to power our civilization and our dreams today. Glass is the material of our age. It allows us to see, to communicate, and to explore. It is the medieval gift that keeps on giving. Our entire internet is built on glass. We are communicating through light, using a technology that began in a medieval forge in the city of Venice. They worked in the dark so that we could live in the light. Their dedication to discovery is the true foundation of our modern, technological world. We have the tools they could only dream of, but we share the same restless spirit and the same desire to understand and improve our world. The act of writing is a connection to our humanity. It is a way to preserve our thoughts and to share our stories with the future world. We are still building cathedrals of knowledge. These spaces are a tribute to the medieval belief that learning is the most important human pursuit of all. The world is a busy, vibrant place, just as it was 800 years ago. We are still trading, still learning, and still moving forward together. We have replaced the stall with the website, but the human desire to connect and to trade is a constant that spans all of human history. We are still inspired by the same things: beauty, light, and the search for meaning are the common threads that tie us to our medieval ancestors. The universe is still a mystery, and we are still looking for answers. The medieval curiosity that drove the first astronomers is still alive in us. Time is the heartbeat of our lives. We have simply learned to measure it more precisely. Using the mechanical principles discovered in the Middle Ages, we use time to save lives now. The measurement of the small and the precise has become our most powerful tool in the fight for health. Every meal is a reminder of our shared culture. The fork is a simple tool, but it represents a massive shift in how we see ourselves. We are still social creatures, finding joy in the simple act of coming together to eat and to share our lives with those we love. The power of nature is a constant. We're finally learning to use it again, building a more sustainable future based on the wisdom of the past. We are moving back to the basics, using the wind and the water to power our high-tech world in a cleaner, more responsible way for all. Glass is the material of our age. It allows us to see, to communicate, and to explore. It is the medieval gift that keeps on giving. Our entire internet is built on glass. We're communicating through light, using a technology that began in a medieval forge in the city of Venice. They worked in the dark so that we could live in the light. Their dedication to discovery is the true foundation of our modern, technological world. We have the tools they could only dream of, but we share the same restless spirit and the same desire to understand and improve our world. The act of writing is a connection to our humanity. It is a way to preserve our thoughts and to share our stories with the future world. We are still building cathedrals of knowledge. These spaces are a tribute to the medieval belief that learning is the most important human pursuit of all. The world is a busy, vibrant place, just as it was 800 years ago. We are still trading, still learning, and still moving forward together. We have replaced the stall with the website, but the human desire to connect and to trade is a constant that spans all of human history. We are still inspired by the same things. Beauty, light, and the search for meaning are the common threads that tie us to our medieval ancestors. The universe is still a mystery, and we are still looking for answers. The medieval curiosity that drove the first astronomers is still alive in us. Time is the heartbeat of our lives. We have simply learned to measure it more precisely, using the mechanical principles discovered in the Middle Ages. We use time to save lives now. The measurement of the small and the precise has become our most powerful tool in the fight for health. Every meal is a reminder of our shared culture. The fork is a simple tool, but it represents a massive shift in how we see ourselves. We are still social creatures, finding joy in the simple act of coming together to eat and to share our lives with those we love. The power of nature is a constant. We are finally learning to use it again, building a more sustainable future based on the wisdom of the past. As we look back, the layers of time begin to blur. We see that every modern marvel is rooted in a much older, more primal human need. The stone doesn't change, only our understanding of it. We are the caretakers of a long, beautiful, and sometimes difficult legacy of constant human innovation. The inventions of the Middle Ages were the first ripples. They have grown into the massive waves of technology that now define every aspect of our lives. We are moving into the light, but we carry our history with us. It is the fuel for our fire and the compass for our journey forward. The language has changed, but the goal is the same: to communicate, to understand, and to build something that lasts longer than ourselves in this world. We live in the world they dreamed of, a world of light and clarity and connection. It is a gift we must protect and continue to build. Time is the ultimate bridge. It connects the medieval monk to the modern scientist, and it connects us to those who will come after us. The morning comes, but the shadows of the past are still there, giving depth and meaning to the bright, clear world of the present day today. We are still reaching for the sky. The ambition of the medieval builders is the same ambition that drives us to reach for the stars tonight. Life is a constant cycle of growth and renewal. We are the latest flowers in a garden that has been tended by many millions of hands. The song is an ancient one. It is the sound of a species that refuses to stand still, always looking for a better way to live together. We are never lost as long as we remember where we came from. The tools of the past are still here, guiding us into the future. The universe is waiting. Our journey is just beginning, fueled by the innovations of 1,000 years and the dreams of 1 billion souls tonight. Let the light guide you. Let the stories of the past inspire you to create something new, something that will one day be a part of history. We are all explorers now. We have the knowledge of the ages at our fingertips, ready to be used to build a better world for everyone. They are still here, watching us. wondering what we will do with the gifts they left behind in the smoky workshops of the Middle Ages. What will you build? What will you leave for those who come after you? The future is yours to shape, using the tools of the past. The light fades, but the memory remains. Carry the medieval spirit of invention with you, into the night and into the dreams of your future. Sleep well, knowing that you are part of a long, beautiful story, a story of ingenuity, grit, and the eternal human drive to see the light. Good night, and thank you. The past is always with us, ticking away, waiting to be rediscovered in the morning light of a new, bright day. Close your eyes now and let the history settle into your heart. You're a child of the past and a parent of the future. The end is just a new beginning. Rest now, for tomorrow you will wake in a world that is still being built, brick by ancient brick,